Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Darksage Walker, and before I let it slip my mind, let's do the soundtrack roll. Okay, that number doesn't actually mean anything. I should maybe redo how I do these. Maybe I should roll a d12 instead of a d20. There we go, so we got piano solo soundtrack. And, you know, not literally an album named Prescription for Sleep, which I still find to be funny. Alright, hey, someone's playing Daisy. Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know anyone still played that. Alright, so what are we going to be doing today? Oh, we're still not on a spotlight. So I figured I would play around with a Blazing Vault build. Now, what is Blazing Vault, you ask? That. And yeah, it's good stuff. I really like Blazing Vault. Now that I might be in the minority on that one, but I really think Blazing Vault is good stuff. And perhaps the best way to make Blazing Vault work is to make it work with... pardon me. Is to make it work with Arcana that work well either at close range or with good coverage. So I can make it work with Bladed Vine, I can make it work with maybe Wind Slash, definitely Air Spinner. Bolt Rail, because of course. Matter of fact, maybe I'll just go with Bolt Rail. You know what? Give myself a little bit of a challenge. Use Wind Slash. As far as the signature should also be something along those same lines. That's right, birds. You got it. They know what's up. Just listen to them. They know. So, let's see here. I'm just looking over my options, seeing what looks right. And actually, I think I'm going to take Tidal Blast, because even though I'm not the biggest fan of how Tidal Blast works as a signature, I do feel as though Tidal Blast is about the right idea for what I'm doing. I'm just kind of testing it out to see how exactly it works, and will it work against bosses? Because I might end up going with a different signature. Let's see, how does it look going this way? Yeah, it's not very good against bosses. In fact, it's pretty awful against bosses, so let's pick something different. I mean, I could just stick with Crystalline Ballestra. It's very good at area sweeping and works well at about the range that Blazing Vault puts you in. So yeah, why not go with that? And I think we're gonna go with the Merchant's Cart. Now, I am gonna make this a retro floor plan run, so we're going to be going with slightly increased difficulty, but I think it's worth it. We're not doing it just to play around with a spotlight. We're doing it because we want the extra money and the extra challenge. And we've been over this before, and why I like retro floor plan. It is not a major surprise to anyone. Now, how do I want to structure this? Do I want to start at Atlas, or do I just want to go and see what happens? I'm just going to go and see what happens. Hey, look at that! Also, no, it's not a Sierra Mist, it is Sparkling Ice Berry Lemonade. So why do I like Blazing Vault? Well, I know Jump Arcana are kind of an iffy spot for a lot of people. It's one of those things where you know, mileage definitely varies. I know a lot of people like Heroic Maelstrom. That one isn't necessarily for me. I'm not, like I've said this many times, but I am not a big fan of the Jump Arcana that essentially had you jumping in place. It's not my thing. Alright, I might want Bounty Hunter Seal, I might want Tears of Midas. Alright, let's grab Tears of Midas now. Because one thing that I know is going to end up being true is that I'm probably going to end up getting beat up a lot. You know, like that. So, let's actually make it so that there's just a slight little bit of reward for, you know, getting the crap kicked out of me. And you can see the gigantic amount of damage that the last bit does. Wow, I did not mean to teleport that direction. God, I hate elemental summoners. Alright, I am now in big trouble because the game decided to throw everything plus the kitchen sink at me in one room. So we're going to start breaking stuff to see if I can't find just a little bit of reprieve, a little bit of solace. Couldn't hurt anything, right? And we're doing a little bit better now. But also keep in mind, this is essentially a melee build with Retro Floor Plan on, so it's going to be a little harder than normal. But we have our immediate Blazing Vault upgrade. I love it. Not much looking forward to anything else here. And don't get me wrong, it's not that Frozen Bait is bad, it's not. But I'm also noticing that two of our opponents are going to take reduced damage from it. I don't know. Alright, let's go ahead and grab the healing potion now. There we go, much better. Oh, and we've got ourselves a Puffy Parka. Does that mean that we have a Crimson Clover in our future? I can only hope so. Alright, so from this floor onwards, the Tiny Crocodile Heart should definitely be improving how things work for us. Because we'll have a lot more health to work with. So I am going to call it like I sees it, though. This is definitely an Arcana that's better for dealing with creatures than bosses. Now, I still think it does plenty well against bosses, but there are still definitely things that do better. So, in order to make Blazing Vault work against bosses, what you kind of have to do is, you know, space it out in such a way that you're hitting them at the last hit of it, instead of just trying to drag them along with it. Same thing is true for bigger enemies. And in doing that, you'll still hit them with a nice chunk of the extra flames as you're jumping. Okay, beautiful. I like that. And there's certainly no harm in taking Shattering Strike, especially considering what we're going up against. Alright, what do we have here? Is the Golden Saber of Envy the right choice, or... See, I wouldn't say the Stanza of Flames is the right choice, but if we can make the Poem of Fiery Rhyme, then that will improve the damage of the signature as well. In case you're wondering what that just sitting still thing there was, I had mistimed my combo, so I had a nice little frame delay. Now, I've stated in the past that I like Jump Arcana because they allow me to do two things. They allow me to defend and attack at the same time. And when I say defend, I don't mean blocking attacks. I mean I can just straight up jump over attacks, laugh at the enemies, and make them eat my blazing parts on the way over their heads. Even though this run isn't necessarily entirely built around having a jump attack, I'm using one because I feel that it's a good idea every now and again to use one, especially if you're planning on doing a melee-based build. It helps improve consistency by allowing you to dodge things with a little bit more ease. We are going to grab this. Alright, now let's come back here, grab you. Come back here. It's a little iffy to take the Golden Saber of Envy this early in the run, but if I take this, I am literally going to be punished for it in the next round. So, I guess we're doing that. Alright, so now we're going to be relying on other methods of healing, so that we don't have to spend so much money on potions. So that's going to mean playing boss as well, it's going to mean taking advantage of Dr. Song. Basically anything that's going to let us take advantage of that high max HP now. Yeah. As you can see, it's still going to drag the boss with you a little bit, so you can hit them with more flames. There we go. Beautifully done. Oh, and hey, I can throw a giant chunk of rock now. Isn't that great? But no, seriously, having a decent ranged option is never a bad thing. Matter of fact, I advocate for making sure you have a decent ranged option when using a melee focused build, because it's just going to make things a little bit more consistent. You know how I feel about consistency in roguelike games. With everything that's happening in a roguelite that can potentially make things go wrong and be inconsistent, make sure you're doing what you can to make as much as you can actually be consistent. Now, what I did there that was a mistake is that I jumped into a fight without having one of my primary arcana. That was the big mistake there. So as much as I'm trying to avoid it, I'm probably going to end up having to take a healing potion at some point here because I'm in a big mistake. Also, the enemies having the ability to freeze me is not going well. Alright, well, we definitely want you. Let's see. Wind, fire. So, Captain's Ring might actually work out well, too. Actually, so does this. Granted, we're spending more on this stuff than I should have to, but I'm also making more. And there's the Shattering Strike upgrade, I love it. But, let's look around before we buy it. Because there's always the chance we could run into Dr. Song. And either Dr. Song or Nocturne would be good. We prefer, of course, Dr. Song because our health ain't exactly looking too great. It's gonna be Nox. At the same time, Nox... Let's see, what do I have that I could give up to Nox right now? Not much. I'm thinking might actually be better to have a defensive buffer zone. Especially since because I have the Golden Saber of Envy, I don't want to drop a lot of money on having to pick up extra relics. There's probably one more combat room. So definitely we're going to do that just so we can have some more money to work with. I was wrong, it's not a combat room, and I am a fool. Alright, you know what? No problem. Mistakes get made. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab the Shattering Strike upgrade. Okay, so we did get a freebie. So now, I need to weigh risk versus reward as to whether or not it's worth giving that freebie up to the Adorable Mimic. Frankly, I think it's worth it. And yeah, it's only a 10% bonus, but it is another cursed relic to use with this, which we're now up to plus 12, and that's looking pretty juicy. I wish I could afford the captain's ring, but we're just gonna have to go with the potion and call it good. Alright, do you have anything that I like? Yes, you've got Dice of the Nemesis and Mirror Shield. But will I be able to afford either one? I guess let's find out. And we're certainly seeing a nice little buff to our striking. Thanks for gathering up, guys. I appreciate that. Alright, a couple of maneuvers there didn't work out, but for the most part I feel I did well in that particular fight. I will say we've got a lovely run going here. And hopefully you're seeing what the idea was with Blazing Bolt, is to add a beautiful way to enter the fight without putting myself in extreme danger. There are times in which I use that jump start better than others, pun somewhat intended. As much as I like Fractal Flare, I'm just gonna have to say no. At this point, we save as much money as we can, since we had to take the Golden Saber of Envy early, by making sure that we save money wherever possible. Alright, so what happened there is that I thought I had a little bit of leeway to throw around another Blazing Bolt. It was on cooldown, and I kind of paid for that one. That is okay. No harm, no foul, right? And speaking of which, let's go ahead and sell this to Grimire. Go on, take it, Undermine Man. I know your family needs money, even though you're wearing a solid gold amulet. Yeah, this isn't almost entirely my fault. I'm just not paying very good attention to which of my Arcana are on cooldown. Alright, well, now we can definitely afford the dice. Do we also attempt to afford the Mirror Shield? Or do we save our money for the Dagger of Midas? Frankly, a defensive relic like the Mirror Shield, I think, will end up saving us a lot of hassle in the long run. We made a lot of money on this floor, so there is no harm in spending a little of it on that. Wow, Dice of the Nemesis already paying for itself. I love it. So, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of anecdotes to share today. I mean, aside from the idea that my roommate is sick with something, it kind of hurts to see it. But unfortunately, I don't have the solution to help him out aside from, you know, get plenty of bed rest. Don't strain yourself doing silly things. And he's not awake right now. At the time of recording, it's nearly 11 p.m. the day before Thanksgiving. So take it, but I probably don't have a use for it. Which again, I know Thanksgiving isn't necessarily a thing in a lot of other countries. It is an American holiday. I know some people out there celebrate it, or at least celebrate the tradition of eating yourself into a crazy stupor. But that doesn't mean that everyone celebrates the reason behind Thanksgiving, which, I mean, let's be fair, you factor in what exactly happened with the Native Americans. Yeah, it's a little iffy, but what I appreciate about Thanksgiving is that it's a bit lower stress than Christmas, and I genuinely appreciate that. And it just feels nice to be able to just get together with family without super high expectations of, oh, what did you get me? Like, you know what I got you? Crippling debt! By the way, I have been keeping an eye out to see if I could have gotten the poem of Fiery Rhyme, and as of right now, no, not really. There was no Fiery Rhyme poem. It's just a lie, just like the cake. And you know, you can try to shame me for making the cake is a lie jokes, but considering how revolutionary porn was, you can take your old man playing video games logic and just go right the hell to bed. That shit is still funny. Okay, we definitely get ourselves another defensive relic. At this point, I'm starting to think that the tiny crocodile heart was a mistake. Because I have never been even remotely close to that level of health. I've had to buy healing potions 3 times now. But yes, in the long run, it does synergize with the Curse Eater's mask, so I guess there's that. So, do I want to purchase anything else? I think, honestly, the Puffy Parka is doing more than I give it credit for, so I better hold on to it. I suppose, now that I'm thinking about it, the other reason why I like Blazing Bolt is because it's a very safe jump-in option to get a lead in combat. The extra flames coming in from behind you will drag moves with you. Next. And just getting them with that hit stun right off the bat is very strong. Like you have a hard time getting that with other jump-in Arcanas. That doesn't mean that it's the only jump-in Arcana that's relatively safe. They all have some amount of safety, but a lot of it is also somewhat situation dependent. Blazing Bolt is the one that I think is usable in the most situations. And certainly my choice for, favored melee attack needed. And aside from whatever I use as my combo starter for ultra combo, but that's not really a standard that leads in. That's a basic that leads into ultra combo. So it doesn't really fall into the same boat. There we go. Alright, that room actually went a lot smoother than I thought it would. That room, on the other hand, beat me up nice and good. Oh, okay, let's have a look here. What do I think would be the best thing to take from here? Mostly because it fits in really nicely with the Curse Eater's Mask thing I have going on. And more than likely we're gonna have to ditch the Puffy Parka, but Dark Sage, you probably don't need the fairy. Ah, hush. You say blasphemous things like that, I'm going to ban you for life from everything. You don't have the power to do that. Don't test me. Alright, and there's really nothing here that I want aside from maybe a health potion. So, yeah. I think the right answer is put down the Parka, pick up the Anchor. Yeah, plus 25% damage. That's going to be real nice. Well, damage and hit stun. No, thank you. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and grab another health potion. And we're making money hand over fist. We might as well. And I am obviously not too scared of the Thunder Twins, easiest boss in the game. And no signature for you. What the hell, we'll just swap out that last one. It's just a rotating door of extras. Hopefully, jumping over that wall of fireballs lets you know exactly why I like some of the jumping. That idea, of course, aimed pretty squarely at newer players, because veteran players already know what I'm getting at. Selling Fractal Flare again. Alright. But I don't need it. I love it, but I don't need it. And actually, we did get pretty close to that ending amount of health, so I guess I shouldn't complain too hard. Jeez. Yeah, I missed. Look, I said I like Blazing Vault. I never said it was the it. I never said it didn't have any problems. You know what? And that's it for that beautiful Master Sewer fight, if I do say so myself. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of experimental Blazing Bolt build. It's an Arcana that I have a bit of a love for. It didn't always start off as it is now. Blazing Vault was actually heavily reworked. I think it was the update before the Phantom update. It might have been at the Phantom update. I might be wrong about that. But it used to be a lot weaker, and even then, I still kind of liked it. But yeah, with the rework they did to it, it's so much more consistent. And yeah, it's definitely something you use more to control mooks than bosses. But, you know, sometimes those mooks can be dangerous, especially if they're throwing giant rocks or frozen arrows at you. You don't need to be dealing with that drama, so just jump over it all, land on them with an explosion, and then fart in their face. Make them smell the methane and go, "Who's the boss now? Haha!" I might have gone a little overboard there. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your continued support and interest in my silly shit. Do the usual YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, check out my social media, all of that, just to let you guys know that I'm still around. It's a little bit more difficult than usual to get things done, but it's a lot easier than when I was working for Post Office. That's enough. I'm just rambling at this point, so again, thank you guys very much. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will